We have a massive New York Knicks Klutch Sports update, as apparently, according to Brian Windhorst, the New York Knicks will go for any Klutch clients if they need to and will not be deterred by the fact that Rich Paul is their agent, and we have to talk about this. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to waste no time jumping into this video, because if you look right here, ESPN on Knicks not acquiring Klutch clients. Windhorst said that he does not believe that for a second, and neither does Tim Bontemps. Brian Windhorst said if it benefits the Knicks, they're trading for a Klutch guy, to which Tim Bontemps responded, they wanted OG Anunoby last year when he was a Klutch guy, and the only reason OG left Klutch is because his agent left the business. And what Windhorst had to say was, look, the Knicks just did a deal with the Raptors who they're suing. In the NBA, you have to do business with who you have to do business with. You can't hold grudges like that. It's never going to get you anywhere. And that's absolutely correct. I mean, the Knicks have been a top-tier organization for the past few seasons when it comes to just being ran like one. And something you can't do is hold grudges against other teams because of some weird beef or whatever. And it feels like the Knicks are not going to be deterred by that. It feels like the New York Knicks are not going to be stopped, or at least according to Brian Windhorst, who is very close with LeBron and Rich Paul. So Windhorst would probably know. He probably has some first-hand knowledge of what's going on. He is an NBA insider. He's been one for a while. And again, the relationship with LeBron and Rich Paul seems to indicate that he would know what he's talking about in this situation. Now, 4 guys have briefly been mentioned as guys for the New York Knicks who they could trade for. Those guys are Dejounte Murray, Malcolm Brogdon, Jordan Clarkson, and Colin Sexton, all 4 of whom are represented by Klutch Sports. Also, there's Zach LaVine, but that one's just not happening, so we're not even really going to go over that one, outside of the fact that he's worth $40 million. I don't know how the Knicks could realistically pay that. You'd have to give up probably both Evan Fournier and Josh Hart. Already you're forming kind of a weird team as it is, and you'd probably have to give up some sort of draft capital to get him, which makes no sense. So, Zach LaVine talk over. Basically, though, Dejounte Murray is the best player out of these guys who are named, and as it's put here, Jake Fisher said that just a year and a half after the trade that landed Murray in Atlanta, the Hawks are making him widely available ahead of the deadline. The fit of Murray and Trae Young has not been as successful as the Hawks hoped, with a minus 2.9 net rating when they share the floor. And the Knicks have been listed as a potential suitor for Murray, though there are reportedly concerns if he can coexist alongside Jalen Brunson, as it didn't work with Trae Young. But even if it's not the Knicks, Murray will have suitors in search of a two-way all-star guard on a somewhat team-friendly contract. I don't like the fit between Jalen Brunson and Dejounte Murray. I've said that before. I'll say it again. I know that a lot of people do, and that Brunson is not a playmaker in the same way that Trae Young is, so there is an argument to that could work. But I also really like the starting lineup, and I like that they could all shoot, and I feel like adding an inconsistent shooter who plays poor off-ball defense like Dejounte Murray isn't exactly different from when the Knicks had RJ Barrett. And though I love RJ, he's probably one of my favorite players in the NBA still today. I actually currently have his jersey hanging up on the wall. It used to be behind me right there, but I changed it out for Melo once he got traded because someone told me to in the comments, and I listened to you guys in the comments. But in all reality, Dejounte Murray on the New York Knicks feels like a wonky fit, and I don't really think the Knicks should try to recapture what they just did with RJ, because now the Knicks have a team full of good shooting players in their starting 5, and it's making Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson play the best basketball of their careers. So I don't think they should screw with anything right now in their starting lineup. And if they're going to make a trade, trade for a bench guy. Trade for someone who could be your 6th man, whether that's Jordan Clarkson, whether it's Malcolm Brogdon, whether it's Colin Sexton. I think Sexton's a little less likely than the other two, so we won't go into him that much. But if you look here, the Knicks have explored the option of trading for Brogdon. At least one other Eastern Conference playoff team has also been in contact with Portland about the veteran guard. Brogdon is represented by Klutch Sports, as we already know. Here's the deal. When I'm filming this video on Tuesday, January 9th, and when it comes out on Tuesday, January 9th, the New York Knicks will be playing the Portland Trail Blazers tonight. The Knicks and the Raptors talked the OG trade when the Knicks went up to Toronto. I guarantee that Leon Rose and the president of the Portland Trail Blazers, who I have no idea who it is after Neil Oshley left, shout out Neil Oshley, I know his nephew, and really what the Knicks have here is a team that is tanking, doesn't need Malcolm Brogdon's services. It doesn't really make sense for Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon does make sense playing 26 minutes a night as the New York Knicks 6th man. because he can both create his own shot off the bench, create looks for other people, and is the reigning sixth man of the year for a reason. He's a guy who could start for teams, but through injuries, he's kind of seemed to fit in more of a bench six-man role now. And I think he would be the perfect replacement for Emmanuel Quickley when the Knicks are seemingly looking for one. Even if Deuce McBride is on that contract and is sort of playing well right now. Because basically, it's just a lot. But essentially, the catch is previously reported by Ian Begley and the Knicks having this poor relationship with Klutch Sports and Rich Paul. Zach LaVine has been unwilling to go to the Knicks because of Rose's connections with CAA and Rich Paul's Klutch Sports. But that's not the case with everyone. That doesn't mean everyone is going to be that way. And that includes Malcolm Brogdon. I assume Brogdon doesn't really care who is running the Knicks and who his agent is because he's on a losing team right now, and Brogdon is 31 years old, and he makes no sense on a losing team. I bet he would be thrilled to come to New York. He just spent his season in the Northeast with the Celtics, where they almost went to the NBA Finals, and then he got traded as part of the whole Porzingis, Drew Holiday fiasco that the Celtics went through to form a really monstrous team. And I bet he would love to come back and play for a team that's successful and will make the playoffs when the Trailblazers are not that, instead of wasting one of the final years of his prime on a team that is not going anywhere anytime soon. They're really going nowhere fast. And something interesting about Brogdon is that if the Knicks were to trade for him, they also have a tradable contract going into the offseason if they want to make a move for a star player, which I do think the Knicks are going to try to do. So it would make total sense for the New York Knicks to pursue Malcolm Brogdon, add him to the bench, potentially dangle him as trade bait over the summer, so you have a tradable contract to add along to those picks, and maybe Quentin Grimes if you're going to move him also for said star, who I don't know who that is, but Leon Rose moves in silence, so it could really be anyone. Basically, Tim McMahon was talking about how the Knicks might want to contact the Jazz because of Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton. What he said is, let's not act like the Deuce McBride thing was a huge bet when McBride signed that 3-year extension, and shouldn't put any roadblock in the pursuit of another bench scorer between now and the second Thursday of February, which is the trade deadline. I don't know why the Strickland worded it so weirdly, but, we got love for them, so it's fine. Basically, the Knicks will still be going for bench scoring by the deadline, and Malcolm Brogdon seems like a perfect guy. He's averaged 20 points per game in a season before. He gives the Knicks a great guy off the bench. It once again gives the Knicks one of the best benches in the NBA. If you have a bench of Malcolm Brogdon, and then along with that, you got Josh Hart, Quentin Grimes, Precious Achiuwa, Jericho Sims. The bench is back looking strong. Maybe they could use a big man who's a little better than Achiuwa or Sims, who are both pretty inconsistent so far and a little undersized. But it still now will revamp the Knicks bench and keep having them as one of the best benches in the NBA, which is very important come playoff time. The Knicks based a lot of their success last season off their bench. And this season now, since the OG trade, their bench has gotten weakened without Emmanuel Quickley and with Isaiah Hartenstein stepping in as the starting center because Mitchell Robinson went down with the ankle surgery and is out for the year. Here's a look at all four of the guys who the Knicks could trade for. Now, if you look at it, it's pretty clear that Dejounte Murray is the best player, though most of us probably already know that going in. I love the idea of Brogdon. He shoots over 40% from three. The next highest is Murray, and that's potentially at an unsustainable clip. We're not exactly sure yet because he hasn't shot this well since his rookie year. Jordan Clarkson shooting 30% from three is a little discouraging with the Knicks bench unit because they're not the greatest heap of shooters ever, and that sort of applies to Colin Sexton. Though Sexton, Clarkson, both of them can put up around 16, 17 points per game, and Clarkson himself is a good passer, though. I love Brogdon with the 15 points, 5 assists, 41% from three. He's really given the Portland Trailblazers something good in a time of darkness for them, or really in a time of tanking. They're trying to be bad anyway, so it's fine. But I think Brogdon would fit perfectly with the Knicks. He could slide into that role super well as he could shoot. He could play on or off the ball depending on Quentin Grimes and Josh Hart and who Brogdon may be on the court with, especially in the playoffs. I don't know why Brogdon's free throw shooting is so far down. He has the record for the greatest free throw shooting season in NBA history. So I don't know what's up with that. Hopefully he can get that back together. Maybe it's a motivation thing, being on the Trailblazers and not being on a winning team. But all four of these guys are intriguing options. The first three are obviously bench players, whereas Murray would fit into the starting lineup. And I do think if you look here, Brogdon is the clear answer as the best suited player for the Knicks. Look, I like Dejounte Murray as a player. I think he fits on a lot of teams. I don't know if he fits with the Knicks. And there have been rumors in the past that maybe Dejounte Murray is not the greatest teammate in the world. Now, who knows if that's true? But there have been reports in the past where his final season on the Spurs, during a random game after they lost, Dejounte Murray was just kind of sitting there while Pop was talking to the team, and he just kind of yelled, "Trade me!" Whether that's true or it's not, it shows something, and it's kind of worrisome, especially because he doesn't really play off-ball defense. I don't know if Dejounte Murray's a bad teammate. Maybe that siren is telling me to be quiet about this because I don't know what I'm talking about. Who knows? What I do know is that the Knicks should go for Malcolm Brogdon if they're going to go for anyone, especially a Klutch client who is a guard. And I don't think that the Knicks should be that pressed over Klutch Sports. I don't think it's really going to have any effect. I think similar to the Knicks-Raptors lawsuit, I think this Knicks Klutch thing is going to end pretty anticlimactically. And some Klutch player is just going to go to the Knicks, and that's going to come out that Leon Rose and Rich Paul hashed it out and that everything's all good and that there's really no problem at all there. And they just all want their players to succeed. And Leon Rose wants the Knicks to succeed and CAA to succeed. And Klutch wants the Lakers and Klutch to succeed. That's all we got on that. Comment down below your thoughts. Who should the Knicks go for out of these 4 players? I'll pull them up again real quick. And like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications. Road to 5K begins now. We got 4K in 8 days. Let's do that again. Let's get another 1,000 in 8 days, or maybe let's get 2,000 in 8 days. Show us what you got. Share these videos with your friends, your family, your mom, your grandma, your dad, your grandpa, your kids. Whoever you're talking to about Knicks basketball, share Knicks Digest with them. It's no longer the season of giving, but hey, do it anyway. Have a great day, guys, and go Knicks.